Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
So today we'll try to discuss and finish off the different types of indices and how we need to calculate all those. Yesterday I showed you with an example as to how an index gets calculated. Yesterday I showed you an example of a price weighted, you know, yesterday I showed you an example of a price weighted index. Okay. Today I'm going to talk about what do you mean by free float market capitalization index and how is it been computed, right? So we'll start with our discussion as far as free float market capitalization. Now, before we go to how is a free float market capitalization index computed, we need to understand what is the meaning of the word free float, right? So free float basically means those shares that are available for trading, those are called as free float. Now, for example, let us say that there are 100 shares of a company. Altogether, there are 100 shares of a company, right? Now, out of those 100 shares, if 50% of the shares, that is 50 shares, are held by a bank, okay, again, another 35% of the shares are held by some promoters of the company. So, what are the shares remaining for the people to trade? I repeat my question. Let us suppose there is a company which has altogether 100 shares. Out of those 100 shares, 50 shares are held by the bank. Okay, the bank is just holding those shares. It is not trading those shares. It is just holding it. Around, let's say, 15% of the shares are held by the promoters of the company, the people who are owning that particular company. Which means how many percentage or how many number of shares are available for freely trading. So it's going to be 100 minus 50 minus 15, 1 5. So 100 minus 50 minus 1 5. So whatever number remains, that is 35 shares are only available for trading as far as market is concerned. So this 35 shares is what we call as free float. That means they are available in the market for anyone and everyone who wants to buy it. That is what is the meaning of free float market capitalization. Now, if I don't use the technique of free float market capitalization, normally, how will I calculate my index? It will be, how will I calculate my market capitalization? It is just going to be price of the share into number of shares. Let us say the price of the share is 20 rupees and you straight away multiply 20 into 100. So you can easily say that the market capitalization of this particular shares is 2000 shares. But are really those many number of shares available for you? They are not available for you. So how many shares are available for you? Only 35 shares are available to you. So according to the free float market capitalization method, you have to multiply the share price of that particular share company into the number of shares that are freely available. In our case, the number of shares that are freely available are only 35. So it is going to be 20 into 35. So that is nothing but just 70, right? So just 70 shares, 700 shares are available as far as the market capitalization is concerned. Any doubts in understanding this logic here?
Sir,
Yes.
you told 35% is available right for free float, sir. So if you want to increase the percent or if you want to decrease the percent, we can do that, sir, in
Uh,
the free float.
you can no no you can do that, but for that reason somebody has to sell the shares, right? Either the bank has to sell its shares, reduce its stake, or the promoters have to reduce their stake. Something or the other should happen. Only then more number of shares will come into the free float area. If both the things are not possible, then the company will do something called as increase the authorized capital. So instead of saying 100 shares,
Yes,
now the
sir.
company will say we have 200 shares. So if out of 200 shares, let us keep the percentage as it is. 100 shares will go to the bank. Okay, 30 shares will come to the promoters, and now 70 shares will be made available for the free float area. So this is how companies can increase the number of shares in that particular segment.
Yes, sir.
Clear? So I think the example that is mentioned in blue will help you understand what do you mean by free float market capitalization. Just go through this particular example and then we'll go to the next part.
Yes, sir.
So now you came to know how do you calculate free float market capitalization. Yeah. We move on to the next part. There are different types of stock market indices. For example, the normal one we have, we call it as the market capitalization weighted index. Okay, so here there is nothing called as free float. Any number of shares that are available, you just have to take those particular number of shares and you have to weight it out, and based on the weightage you can compute the index. So earlier, when I say earlier, I'm talking about before 2003. Okay, Sensex and Nifty both were computed on market capitalization weighted method. The both the Sensexes of the Bombay Stock Exchange as well as National Stock Exchange were computed on the total market capitalization, not on free float, but on total market capitalization, and weights were weights were assigned, and based on that an index was generated. But post 2003, both the stock exchanges have shifted from a market based weighted average index to a free float market capitalization index. The one that we have today is called free float market capitalization index. That means only those number of shares are considered which are easily available for any person who wants to trade in that particular shares. So that is what we call as the free float market capitalization index. Next one we have the weighted in the price weighted index. Now price weighted index is nothing but, yesterday I gave you an example of how a price weighted index is done. So Dow Jones, which is nothing but an American index, okay, the American index is calculated on price weighted is on a price weighted method. Likewise, Nikkei is also on price weighted method. Nikkei is a index as far as Japan is concerned. Okay, and then we have equally weighted index. Of course, this nobody follows, but what generally people follow is free float market capitalization index and price weighted index. These are the two methods which are followed worldwide as far as index computation is concerned. Okay, so this is what I had to say. Then these are some different indices that came into picture. Why these indices came into picture is, as the number of shares, as the number of companies started to grow on BSE. Okay, BSE found it very difficult to restrict their calculation only to the top 30 companies. So more and more number of companies started getting added in the Bombay Stock Exchange, and as a result, the authorities of the Bombay Stock Exchange felt that having a 30 as a number is very dangerous, because we are ignoring other companies, okay, and some sectors which are just coming up. We are ignoring those sectors. So what did BSE do? They expanded their business. They expanded their index, and today we have an index called as BSE National Index. So BSE National Index talks about the top 100 companies that are traded on Bombay Stock Exchange. It was constituted in 1989, and not only that, a dollar version of the same index is also available for people who want to trade in the international market. Like for example, suppose Rashmi is here. Rashmi is from Sweden. Okay, let us say then no, Nabiraj is from Australia. Rohini, let us say you are from Denmark. Now all of you are staying in different countries, and you still want to invest into Bombay Stock Exchange. But the problem is you do not understand the Indian currency. In such case, a dollar version of BSE 100 is also available for you, and that particular index we call it as Dolex. Okay, so this is a technique to facilitate people who want to invest their money into Indian stock markets, and if they want to know what is a benchmark for it, uh, an international version has been given to it, and this is called as Dolex. So dollar based index. Then it so happened that BSE came to a conclusion that even this 100 is not enough for us, because the companies have started to increase day by day, and we cannot restrict our calculation only to 100 shares. We have to expand further, and that is the reason they came up with BSE 200 index. Okay, so it was formulated in 1994. So the top 200 shares of selected companies from BSE, okay, were taken into consideration, and then an index was generated out of it. Okay, again, for the same BSE 200, a dollar version is available. This is also called as DOLX 200. The first one we call it as DOLX 100, and the second one we call it as DOLX 200. Okay, so this is as far as the number of companies started to increase, they felt that only keeping a number of 30 is dangerous. We need to embrace, or we need to take into consideration more number of companies into our bracket, and that is the reason. So we have the BSE national index, that is consists of top 100 shares, and then we have BSE 200, which consists of top 200 shares of selected companies which are listed on BSE. Clear? Now when all these things started happening, there were some small people who said that we cannot fit your eligibility criteria, or we cannot fit your market capitalization criteria, and that is the reason we are not a part of this particular index. But still we have a lot of potential to grow. We are good companies, we have been there in this particular business from a very long time, and there are high prospects of growth for this particular company. You need to include us also in that particular index. So this was a concern raised by all the small and medium capped industries. So what BSC said, we cannot change the existing format of the national index and the BSE 200 index. Neither can we change the Sensex, which consists of top 30 shares. But specifically for small and medium enterprises, or for small industries, we will create another index, and this is what we call as the mid cap index and the small cap index. Right? So BSE came up with another two types of indices. One is what we call as this BSE mid cap index, and second is BSE small cap index. Okay, the whole purpose of this particular index was very simple. Okay, all the indices constituted of BSE were applicable only for large scale companies. They never took into consideration small companies. But later on they came to know that growth wise, revenue wise, profit percentage wise, small companies are much better than large companies, and that is the reason they decided that we will create a separate index for especially mid cap companies and small cap companies. At the same time, if these companies wanted to raise capital from the market, they could not enter into the BSE and NSE because of their eligibility criteria. So they decided to have a separate index for them, and that is the reason why we have BSE small cap and BSE mid cap index. Clear? So this index was constituted in 2003, basically to track the performance of small and medium sized companies. Is this clear? Any doubts in this?
No, sir.
Okay. Then we have one more index called as the BSE 500. Again, the same story repeats. This was constituted in 1999. Again, because they felt that 200 is also a less number, so they came up with 500 index. And this is how the number of shares started increasing, because as the number of shares started getting listed on BSE, those shares started performing better, and these companies wanted to come into the index chart. So since they could not alter the existing one, they created many more indices. And BSE also came up with sectorial index. If you want to know only what is happening with auto index, so they took only automobile companies. Okay, so they took only automobile companies. Like for example, they created an index only for automobile sector, which comprised of Tata Motors, Mahindra and Mahindra, Maruti Suzuki, Bajaj Auto. Okay, then Hero Motors. Then we have Hindustan Motors. Okay, Eicher Motors, Escorts Motors. Okay, so all auto and auto related ancillary companies came into this particular index. Even for that matter, companies like Myco Bosch, that is Robert Bosch, came into this particular segment. Then we had companies such as Kalyani Brakes, the company that manufactures the brakes for almost all the two wheelers. The name of that company is called Kalyani Brakes. So Kalyani Brakes came into this particular thing. Then all of your two wheelers and four wheelers have shock absorbers. right? So Shock Absorbers is manufactured by a company called Gabriel India Limited. So Gabriel India was also pushed into this particular auto index. Why? Because they are all related to auto. So if you want to know how this auto sector is performing, you just open that particular index, you will come to know how is the auto index behaving. Likewise, we have the bank X where only banks are there. Then we have capital index wherein capital intensive companies. I can give you names such as Bharat Forge, okay, Bharat Earth Movers Limited. All these companies are capital intensive companies, so an index was constituted for them. Then we have FMCG index, wherein companies like Hindustan Lever, ITC, Dabur, then we have Godrej, okay. Then we have Jyoti Labs. Can you tell me any one product of Jyoti Labs? No, there's a company called as Jyoti Labs. Can you tell me one product? Everyone has used this particular product. Okay, everyone has used this particular product. And can you name one of the product of Jyoti Labs?
So we use Exo dish bar.
Exo dish bar. Okay, fine.
Is this of Jyoti?
No, no, this is not of Jyoti. Amitabh Bachchan does the ad for it.
So Gadi,
Which one?
Gadi.
Yeah, Ghadi detergent powder. Then you have Ujala. Right. All these companies come from a company called as Jyoti Labs. Okay. So all the companies like they come into FMCG sectors, they have an index for them. Likewise, we have healthcare index wherein all pharma and pharma related, wellness related companies come into this. Then we have specifically only for metals. You know how metals have been performing to gauge the performance of metal industry. Okay, for example, I can give you some names like Tata Steel, Steel Authority of India, JSW Steel. Okay, then we have POSCO Steel, Chorus Steel, right? Bhushan Saw Steel. All these companies come into metal. I'm just giving example of steel, but there are others also. We have Hindalco for aluminium. Okay, then we have Binani for zinc that comes into picture. So there are a lot of other companies that come into this particular segment. So only metals are taken into consideration. Likewise, we have IT consumer index. Reality is basically for all real estate companies like DHFL, okay, GMR, all these come into the reality sector. And likewise, we have oil and gas and the power sector. So in power sector, we have mostly companies from the Tata Power. Then we have Adani Power, NTPC, National Thermal Power Corporation. All these companies come into the power sector. So these are sectorial index only to know the performance of that particular specific industry only. If you want to know, then you can go to this particular index. Is it clear? The way BSE has this on similar basis, NSE also has it. So this is called CNX Nifty. Okay. So CNX Nifty is a well diversified stock index consisting of 50 top stocks. They are from 22 different sectors. So they have given more weightage to sectors. They have not given importance to performance, but they have given importance to various sectors. NSE felt that since the number of companies that are listed on NSE are more, we should give equal weightage to all the sectors that are coming into our segment. So there are 22 sectors that are under NSE, and that is the reason 50 stocks are being considered from these 22 shares, from these 22 sectors. Okay. Now, Nifty is owned. By the way, this is a mathematical formula. Please understand my word. CNX Nifty is a mathematical formula, and this formula is being owned by two companies. Okay, it is owned by and managed by an company called as India Index Services and Products Limited and CRISIL. So these two companies jointly with NSE own a company called as India Index Services. They give you the calculation for Nifty index. So it is like a patent. Okay, it's a company which has a patent only to calculate index. That's it, nothing else. Right now, uh, the CNX Nifty represents 68% of the free float capitalization, and the stocks that are listed as on 2013. So this data is a bit old. I will just get the rectified data for this, but uh, This particular index is more of a free float market capitalization index, and that is the reason why this particular index of Nifty is more given weightage than BSE is, for the simple reason it is based on free float market capitalization. Point number one. Second, it consists of top 50 stocks from 22 different sectors, so the variety and the range is huge. That is the reason people today look for Nifty than BSE. Clear? Next is Nifty was it started in 1995, and the base year that was considered was 1000 rupees. So in other words, in 1995, if you had invested 1000 rupees in NSE, today that 1000 rupees would have become around 11,000 rupees. Yeah, so that 1000 rupees would have become 11,000 rupees if you had invested just 1000 rupees way back in 1995. Okay, so uh, one major advantage of CNX Nifty is it is ideal for derivative trading. Compared to Bombay Stock Exchange, derivatives are more traded on the Bombay Stock Exchange. In fact, if I can give you some vital information, 95% of the total derivative market is only with NSE, only 5% of the derivative market is with BSE. So that makes NSE more vibrant, more stable than BSE. Clear? Now, this is just a representation how the weights are considered, what are the major sectors that are considered here. So financial service industry constitutes around 29%. Okay, likewise there are companies from various segments that come into it, and the total amount comes to 100. So this is the sectorial representation of Nifty index. Okay, I can just show you this particular graph. You can see from this. Okay, this is how the constituent of NSE is. So Nifty 50 companies sector wise weightage, how much weightage is given to what segment, you will be able to understand. If you observe one thing, financial services and financial business is given more weightage as far as NSE is concerned, followed by IT, energy sector, automobile, and then it goes on. Clear? So financial services constitutes a major chunk of the companies that are represent as far as the Nifty is concerned. This is just a chart for you to show how Nifty has performed. Okay, so it went up here. Okay, can you see this part here? Can you see this part here? Somewhere here, 1998. Are you able to hear me out? Can you see this chart? Can you see this chart?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Most of you, I think, you're sleeping. Anyways,
Yes, sir.
look at the year 1998 and look at this part. This is the Pokhran blast, nuclear blast that took place in India. Okay, and as a result, the market fell down. Again, it went up. This is the 1999. Okay, the dot-com bubble that was busted. Okay, this is where the Satyam scam took place. This is where the Satyam scam took place. Okay, can you see this peak here down, black color part?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is the this is 2002 serial bomb blast in Mumbai. This is what happened. The market crashed. Okay, this is another area wherein the bomb blast took place. This is called the Black Friday. I think you had a movie also wherein KK Menon acted in a movie called as Black Friday. So this is Black Friday. Okay, again, it was a serial bomb blast that took place in Mumbai in local trains. Okay, then after that the market went up. Again, you see a fall in the market here. This is because the US regulations changed. Okay, and as a result the market fell down, and then it started slowly going up. Okay, it reached up to a very high level, and then it suddenly fell down. This is 2008 2009 world financial crisis. Can you see a V shape here? Can you see this V shape? So the market was here, it fell down very badly,
Yes, sir.
and then again it recovered. Okay, so this is how you can predict, this is how the performance can be understood as to what happened with the CNX Nifty 50. Okay, now here I'm comparing both, here I'm comparing both the movement of Sensex also, and here I'm comparing the movement of Nifty also. If you observe, both are moving in the same direction. Okay, both are moving in the same direction. Only thing is, the blue color line indicates Nifty. These are the levels raised by Nifty, and the red color indicates blue color indicates Sensex, and red color indicates the Nifty values. So Nifty values are on your right hand side, okay, and Sensex values are on your left hand side. So this is how we can understand how the performance of both the indices happen. If you observe, both are moving parallelly. There is hardly any point wherein there is a distortion where one is overlapping the other. Of course, now you can see here in this point of time, NSE and BSE are overlapping each other. Okay, so we have to wait for some more time to understand how the picture is going to turn out. Okay, yeah, this is what I was trying to tell you. Observe this blue color line. Okay, this is how the number of shares that are traded. All these figures are in millions. Okay, in lakh crores. So this is how the trade has happened in Bombay Stock Exchange. You see there is a downtrend, then again there's an upward movement, and after that there's a sudden downtrend. Why? People have shifted from Bombay Stock Exchange, people have shifted to the National Stock Exchange. So you can see National Stock Exchange started slowly. The curve is very smooth, but then it has a good growth. Of course, phase, this particular phase is the corona phase. It will get over very soon, and the markets are expected to go up from this point. Clear? But based on the chart or based on the data, it is very important for us to understand and interpret, okay, the movement of the market, in what direction it is happening, and where maximum volume of trade is happening. Clear? So likewise, I'll just quickly wrap up through this. The way I explained to you for BSE, even small companies in NSE said that we also want to be a part of the market, but NSE said we cannot include you. So for that reason, they created another index called as Nifty Junior. Okay, so this is for small and mid cap companies. So they selected top 50 small and mid cap companies, and they created a index for them. This index is also available for international investors, and the name of this particular index is called DIFTY. So it is dollar denominated Nifty. That is the reason it's called DIFTY. Okay. So likewise, as I said, we have CNX mid cap index. Okay, and then we also have CNX 500 index. Later on, we also have sectorial index. We have only for MNC companies, there is one index. Only for public sector undertakings, there is one index. Capital goods, FMCG, healthcare, metals. Okay, so these are different sectorial indices are also available as far as NSE is concerned. Is it clear? So this is where we come to the end of understanding both the indices and how the market capitalization is taking place. What we are doing now is we are just trying to conclude what is better. Okay, what is better in the sense we can easily understand that NSE is much better than BSE for the following reasons. One, it has a very wide accessibility. Okay, anyone sitting in anywhere in India can have access to National Stock Exchange because the technology that they use is through a satellite communication technology, whereas BSE still uses the broadband services. So that is one major advantage of NSE. Second is a screen-based trading system. You need not go to the broker also. Sitting at your home, you can punch in orders. The orders will be routed through your brokers to the stock exchanges, and your deals will be done. Third thing is, which is common to both the exchanges, non-disclosure of trading identity. They will never tell you whether the person who buying the share is a very important person or a very normal person. So your identity is never revealed. You are just noted by a certain number. Okay. Then there is very transparent transaction that takes place. There's a system called as matching of orders. Okay. We'll come to matching of orders at a later stage, not now. They have a system called as matching of orders. Then they have a very effective settlement of corporate benefits. In other words, whenever any company declares a dividend, or whenever any company declares a bonus shares, or whenever any company declares a stock split, all these things are quickly incorporated and the benefit is passed on to the retail investors. The benefit is passed on to the retail investors. So this is one of the effective settlement system of corporate benefits that NSE has. Next, we have the trading and demat form, which is also applicable and available with the BSE now. So there is not a major point of distinction. It is a similar one. Then we have SGL facility for debt market. So what is SGL facility? I'll come to it when we come to the debt market, which is unit number 4. Right now, I'll not go into what is SGL facility. Whenever we come to that particular unit, I have to explain to you a lot of things with respect to debt market. That time we will understand all these points. Okay. Just to make a finishing touch, recent trends that we observe in NSEs, there is a huge expansion of shares that is happening in terms of more number of companies are coming into the system. That is the reason they want to expand the scope of NSE. Only good and quality stocks are included in NSE. Okay, all the shares which are not good, they are being classified as Z group securities. Z group means they don't trade, they are not permitted to trade, or nobody trades in those particular shares. Next, we have enough of liquidity. You can easily convert your shares into money or money into shares. That facilitates liquidity. So NSE gives that particular facility. Why this facility is given by NSE is because of the settlement system that it has. That is T+2 settlement system that it has. Compared to BSE, brokerage is very less in NSE because it has wider scope. There is always a guarantee that, if you face a risk in terms of, you are not able to get your shares in time, you're not able to get your money in time, there is always an risk insurance cover that is available to you. Okay, which is not available in BSE. And then we have the quick clearing and settlement cycle. And most important thing, even foreign companies are allowed to trade in NSE market. So FII stands for foreign institutional investors are also permitted to trade in NSE market. So these are the advantages of NSE over BSE. Clear? With this, we come to the end of the stock exchanges. The other exchange that we have is called OTCI exchange. Okay, OTCI is basically that particular exchange started only for those companies who do not satisfy the capital requirements that were set by NSE and BSE. Like for example, we have very small companies who also want to trade in the stock markets, but just because of their size, just because of their capacity, they don't even qualify to come into BSE and NSE. For such companies, another exchange was started. This is called OTCEI, that is Over the Counter Exchange of India. Okay, the whole idea was to provide market for small companies. Okay, if you look at the point number 2, point number 2 highlights what is the main purpose of establishing this particular exchange. Just go through this particular slide and then we will stop here. Any doubts in this?
No, sir.
I'm running out of time also. There's one more thing, that is mutual
No,
funds.
sir.
I will not be discussing mutual funds because I think Prayak sir is going to discuss mutual funds in financial services. If he does not discuss, then I will definitely tell you what is mutual fund and how does it work. Okay. But if he is discussing, then I won't confuse you with other things. So this is the entire thing of how a mutual fund works. Okay. So anyways, we'll stop here and I'll meet you in the next class. Okay. In the next class, we'll start with the next unit. Okay. I'll just ask Prayak sir if he's teaching mutual funds. Well and good. If not, then I'll continue with mutual funds. It will take only one hour. In that, not only 1 hour, around half an hour. In half an hour, I can easily complete what is a mutual fund and how does it work. Is that okay? And from next class, problems are going to start. So keep a calculator, a pencil, and a pen with you always handy. Because from next class onwards, problems are definitely going to start. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So this first 2 units, you will send the slides, sir,
I'll
so
send
that
it
we can
immediately.
refer it.
I'll send it immediately now.
Okay, sir. Thank you,
Because
sir.
I've completed, so I'll send it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. We have only 19 people here for the class today. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.